Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about money and specifically whether money can make us happy. A lot of the times when we even read stories, watch movies, even see ads and everything that we're surrounded with these days, I think there's a very strong narrative or suggestion that the pursuit of success, that typically means a pursuit of wealth and recognition, is what leads to happiness. And what I want to talk about here today is that whilst success and wealth and money are fantastic things and there's nothing wrong with striving for them, it is very important to understand that in actually a lot of cases, these are separate to being happy. And I'm sure you all have heard or read stories. There's heaps of examples of famous people who've achieved a lot of success and a lot of wealth and financial freedom, yet were unhappy. And often for day-to-day people who are not in that position, that sometimes may feel a little bit strange. And sometimes we have this sort of wishful thinking of, well, if I didn't have to worry about money, then I would have no worries at all and I would be an entirely happy and blissed out person. Now, this is actually wrong in most cases. Let's look at what the science actually tells us. Number one, it is true that poverty negatively impacts our level of happiness and life satisfaction. This is not a surprise. If someone is struggling to pay their bills, they don't have food for money, education, housing, this is a big deal. And this is a big challenge. And in that case, having more money absolutely will increase this person's happiness and will in fact make them happier. A lot of studies done around it talked about that level of income in the States and Australia kind of looking around that $85,000 a year mark. I don't know if that maybe has changed slightly given the increases in cost of living, but the baseline there was that actually once you have your basic needs met, from there onwards, the increases in the money that you get have very minimal impact on your level of happiness and satisfaction. This is quite disappointing when you think about it, because the return on your effort, if you're striving for happiness in that case, and you think that making more money is going to make you happier, is actually not that great. It doesn't mean, again, that we shouldn't be striving for it, but this is where being really intentional and honest with yourself around what is it that you actually need and want in life is important. For example, if you're in a really high-paid job, but you really hate what you do, I guarantee you that even making more money is not going to make you happy. If anything, people in those situations often feel quite unhappy because they feel quite stuck. They feel like they got stuck in the lifestyle that the job affords them, yet they really hate doing what they're doing. This is quite I don't want to say miserable place to be, but it's quite far from the kind of happiness attainment that we presumably most of us strive for. Now, the reality is that happiness is something that we cultivate within, assuming our baseline needs are met and there are no really adverse things and events impacting us. Now, you could probably argue some very spiritual teachers will say that happiness is within you always and regardless. And there's all these remarkable stories of people who have suffered through unthinkable hardships and yet still retained that peace and contentment within them. But I think most of us are not like that. I'm certainly not like that. And for most real life people, as long as things are, I guess, not entirely disruptive, the happiness is truly something that we have to work on and cultivate within ourselves. And actually striving for more money in that sense is never the answer. You can be both a very happy person who is very wealthy and lives with a lot of financial freedom, And you can also be a very unhappy person with that same amount of financial freedom and wealth. This is just the external. And yes, your external surroundings will change. You'll drive a different car, live in a different place, visit different restaurants, of course. But if within you, you're not feeling aligned, you're not feeling like you've got a purposeful life, you don't feel truly connected to yourself, most importantly, none of these things are going to really help you feel any different. And this is where I feel like these days, those two things are too much interconnected, and we just need to separate them a little bit. Again, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't aim to go to nice places or live in nicer houses and things like that. Absolutely not. But living with a mindset of I'll be happy when means you'll never get there. It means that you're always in that state of lack, and that state where it tells you that it's not enough. It's not enough what it's like. The real key and the most peaceful state you can operate from is when you are learning to cultivate how to be happy in the moment with what you have and with where you're at, while still allowing yourself to dream, to set goals, and to strive for better things and be excited about them as well. Now, this is not the easiest thing to do, but I think it's always the best place to start from. Very first thing of how to get there is to learn to be grateful for what you have. Gratitude practice, something I spoke about on this channel previously, is one of the most well-researched interventions that help us increase our level of life satisfaction, but also learn to appreciate and notice all the beautiful things in our life, and as a result, being even more grateful when new things come in, and being able to appropriately appreciate them rather than feel like we're constantly get stuck in that cycle where once we get to that next thing, we're already feeling like we need something more and something more. And then that's when you're in the cycle that will never lead you to that sense of peace and content. Now, okay, so we've established so far two key things. One is if the basic needs of the individual are not met, money truly can and will make them a lot happier. And that is a given. Number two is if your basic needs are met, happiness in that sense is not dependent on money. And in fact, money played quite a small role in it. So, third thing I do want to say is there is also research that demonstrates very clearly that in order for us, and again, that's assuming our basic needs are met, in order for us to feel more satisfaction and happiness from money, there's two things we can do. One is spend money on other people. Whilst we may think that spending money on ourselves and buying things for ourselves is the preferred method of increasing our levels of happiness, plenty of research demonstrates that when we're actually being generous and spending that money on someone else, it increases our sense of happiness a lot more. So doing beautiful and generous things for other people is something that you can do and you can spend your money on, and that will actually be the most generous gift you can give to yourself. That's one. Second thing is that spending money on things that help you not do things that you really don't enjoy and drain your energy also quite dramatically increases, maybe not dramatically, but it definitely does increase your level of happiness and life satisfaction. So what I'm saying here is, whilst just buying more stuff and bigger and much more stuff is not actually going to make you that much happier, if at all, spending money on freeing up your time so you can dedicate your time doing things that you really love and enjoy is actually a really worthwhile investment of your hard-earned cash. So, for example, if you're someone who really does not like cleaning, investing in a cleaner is going to make a big difference in freeing up those few hours where you're not doing something that you're incredibly resentful of, and instead doing something that you enjoy. And even though that may feel like quite a I guess maybe frivolous spend, and again, we're obviously not talking here about situations where someone might be really struggling financially, but I'm talking here where the choice is between, do I buy myself another, I don't know, dress or, handbag or something like that I may or may not necessarily need, versus spending money on a cleaning service that, yes, maybe I don't really need, but that will free up a few hours a week for me that I'm then going to spend on connecting with my family, reading a beautiful book, going for a walk, spending time with my friends. I don't know, you name it. Basically, doing something that I love is going to fill me up, and that is going to make a difference. So this is actually quite counterintuitive, because of a lot of the times people tend to think that spending money on physical things, something, I bought this dress or I bought these shoes and now I have them and they're there, is a better investment compared to maybe on a service that is not necessarily necessary, which of course it's not. But when it comes to us thinking that money can make us happier, and this is what we're talking about in this video, this is what will actually lead to an increased sense of satisfaction and happiness, as opposed to accumulating more things. So here it is. I guess the key takeaways for us in this video is that, of course, money is really important, and we want to treat money with respect and attention money deserves. If someone is really struggling financially, having more money absolutely will make a really big difference to their life and a sense of their satisfaction with life. For everybody else, accumulating more things is not necessarily a path to happiness in any way, or even just accumulating more wealth. Focusing on doing things that you enjoy, focusing on gratitude and appreciating what you already have. And when it comes to money, remembering that spending money on other people and being generous, and spending money to free your time and free yourself from doing things that really drain you, are really worthwhile investments when it comes to ways to help you to cultivate more happiness using your own money. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. See you in the next video. Bye.